16 groups on 2 sound stages, going for a marathon 11 hours, non-stop. That was what the Marlens Winterfest at Campbells Landing represented, and all for just £3. The proceeds will go to finance similar entertainment at the Marlens Festival next September. Attendances were slow to build up, and some of the earlier acts were playing to just a few friends in the audience. The programme was varied, with some heavy rock groups and a goodly number of traditional folk groups. Here's a selection. Enjoy!
Looking through my back door, wondering which way to go. Woman, I'm so crazy about, she don't want me no more. Think I'll take me a freight train, cause I'm feeling blue. Right all the way into the town, you know me a view. I stayed a while in another city, just about to go insane. Sounded like I heard my baby, when she used to call my name. If she ever comes back, gonna find me a brand new thing. Walking with my baby down by Lady Bay. Your turn, ready?
As our camera team were leaving the venue, they were told that this was very definitely the last gig to be held at Campbells Landing. Sure enough, during the following week, the place had not only remained firmly shut, but rather permanent-looking shuttering had been placed in the windows. Apparently, the plan is to turn the former 8-bedroom hotel into luxury flats, just like its former competitor, the Grade 2 listed Royal Pier Hotel just over the road. Built in 1869, this hotel was closed to the public in 2001. In 2011, planning permission was granted to turn it into 17 luxury apartments. So watch this space for developments. Since 2008, the Regent Hotel in Hill Road has been lying dormant and appears to be gradually disintegrating before our very eyes. Many failed attempts have been made to discover its future fate, so watch this space for developments. One local watering hole which has been turned into luxury flats is the former Clock Tower pub in the Triangle. But the fate of Campbells Landing, named after the popular paddle steamers that called at the pier during the mid-20th century, is still in question. Watch this space for developments. Meanwhile, enjoy some more of its final hours.
Thanks a lot.
They are known as the Friends of Poets Walk, and their aim is to increase the variety and quality of the various natural habitats on Church and Wains Hill, as well as to make it a more enjoyable and informative nature reserve for the visiting public. Another task on their list was to clean up the seats on the popular coastal walk and to improve the view from those seats by cutting the hedge on the seaward side of the path. Just a short walk along the path, right opposite the popularly named Sugar Lookout, the volunteer group have discovered a zigzag path that climbs right up to the top of Church Hill. The pathway has remained overgrown and inaccessible for many years. It is reckoned that it was built at the same time as the main path around the hills was built in the early 1930s. To date, the group of a dozen or so members, who have been going strong for about 6 months, has exposed the concrete-based pathway, which is interspersed with regular steps and climbs up through 10 sharp bends. The Friends of Poets Walk have so far put nearly 200 hours into their projects and are keen to meet new members who would like a challenge and a chance to make a difference to this popular local nature reserve. They say that this is a chance to enjoy some good team spirit in the open air, coupled with a sense of a job well done. Finally, the zigzag leads up to a wonderful viewpoint, overlooking the whole of Clevedon Bay. Part of the plan is to clear the area at the top and scrape the compacted earth from the rest of the path, making the whole place accessible for us all to enjoy the magnificent view once more. The recently built Mugger, a multi-use games area, has proved to be very popular with the local budding football stars. Maybe if there are any soccer scouts watching this video, they might consider a weekend trip to the Salthouse Mugger. Meanwhile, the ad hoc teams of the Clevedon Mugger League Division 1 play on. Our bandstand was built in 1887 to celebrate Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee. And to commemorate our own Queen's Diamond Jubilee this year, North Somerset Council, Clevedon Town Council and the Civic Society are seeking financial support to redecorate and replace the rotten panels in the seafront landmark and to improve disabled access to the performing area. It is hoped that the work can be completed in time for the celebrations next June. Fancy a desirable residence with a garden leading down to the riverbank? Well, a planning application for just that was lodged during February. It is intended to replace Staddon's timber yard, which older viewers will remember was right by the old WC&P light railway. Seven houses and a block of 4 flats are proposed, although some local residents have already objected that that is too many on such a small plot. All we can say to any potential purchaser is, beware of the ghost train. Clevedon's only cinema, the Curzon, is celebrating its centenary this year. Next month, Clevedon News will feature a detailed history of the venue, but this month we celebrate the Curzon Collection of cinema heritage technology that is housed round here in the original coach house. The resident staff are very friendly and the entrance is free. So, welcome to this, one of the most comprehensive collections of cinema and home movie artifacts available. A glance at the Curzon website will tell you when it is open, and there is always a knowledgeable group of people available to guide you round the many fascinating machines on show. This is Maurice Thornton, the collection's curator.
That is how it used to be done. Well, in those days it was as fast as the projectionist went out and turned the handle. You know, if it was getting on into the evening and he'd had a couple of points, the call of nature was going quite in, and then it went faster.
This early sound projector spent much of its life at the Electric Palace Cinema, Bridport. It represents the period around 1932 when films were being produced using the sound-on-disc method, originally used in the first talkie, The Jazz Singer. The disc contains the sound for reel 3 of the 1929 film Lucky Star.
We can't play it, it runs at 33 1/3 and it doesn't play the same as a normal long playing record. It actually plays from the middle outward. Yeah. So we can't play it. We know what's on it, roughly.
What was the light source?
Light source, carbon arc. Basically what it is, you put a DC charge through positive and negative when they're close together, and you open them up, and as you open them up you create an arc, which is the light. This projector's got a history because it came out of a place called Williton House. And Williton House is next to Bletchley Park, Station X. You know about that? Yeah, well, Churchill used to go to Station X quite frequently. they'd got a small cinema, and he was an avid movie watcher. And this is one of the projectors that he would watch us.
This device, introduced in the 1960s, is called a platter. It allowed the 5 or 6 reels of an average feature film to be joined together and shown continuously. The film was fed to the projector from the top platter, passed through the picture and sound gates and back to the lower platter, thereby allowing the cinema to operate with just one projector instead of the usual 2 of the past. The Curzon Collection not only houses cinema projectors, there are large displays of domestic film equipment also on show. 16mm film was introduced by Eastman Kodak in 1923 as an inexpensive amateur alternative to the conventional 35mm format. And 9.5mm film was introduced in 1922 by the French manufacturer Pathé. .8mm film was introduced by Kodak in 1932. It came in 2 versions, the original standard 8mm, and in 1965 the superior quality Super 8. Cameras in both formats were readily available and became very popular right up to the introduction of videotape in the 1980s.
The sound film, of course, which is why you've got the...
A hands-free area has also been provided at the collection where young people can watch and indeed project films themselves. The recent Heritage Lottery funded refurbishment of various parts of the Curzon has meant some of the Curzon collection can now be permanently displayed for the regular cinema goer to see. Up at the top of the building is another piece of history, the original projection room, now unused but still displaying the running order for the last programme ever shown here, and now preserved in part as a memorial to one Stanley Newton, who was projectionist here for 55 years. On the right is a view of the projection box that we, the paying public, will recognise. If you have ever visited the Curzon, you were sitting below that suspended ceiling. One day it will be removed, and the Curzon's full glory will once more be revealed. There are more displays from the collection up here in the gods, and on open days the mini cinema is also open, showing, among other delights, some Harold Lloyd movies. Clevedon Light Opera Club has come a long way since its birth in the old Salthouse Pavilion in 1950. Nowadays they perform twice a year in the Prince's Hall, and we dropped in on a recent rehearsal. Fiddler on the Roof, which the group has staged twice before, is set in the early 20th century Russian village of Anatevka. It tells of the milkman Tevye, father of 5 daughters, and his attempts to maintain his family and Jewish religious traditions, while outside influences on their village encroach upon their lives.
And because of our traditions, everyone here knows who he is and what God expects us to do.